There is a quiet light that shines in every heart. It draws no attention to itself, although it is always secretly there. It is what illuminates our mind to see beauty, our desire to seek possibility, and our hearts to love life. Without this subtle quickening, our days would be empty and wearisome, and no horizon would ever awaken our longing. These are the words that begin John O'Donohue's book, To Bless the Space Between Us. It is just one of many books in which he offers wisdom born of years of study, contemplation, ministry, and wanderings throughout his native Ireland. His teaching are a seamless blend of scholarship, Celtic understandings of nature, and Catholicism, all synthesized into elegant spiritual teachings, shared stories, and lyrical poetry. I have come to love John O'Donohue's writings, especially his blessings. And today it's my pleasure to talk about this remarkable man and the ways he continues to bless the world, even after his untimely death in 2008 at the age of 52. John O'Donohue was raised in West Ireland and was the eldest of 3 siblings. His father was a stonemason and his mother kept the house. O'Donohue studied English, philosophy, theology, and he entered the Catholic priesthood in 1979 at the age of 23. He moved to Germany 7 years later to complete a PhD dissertation on the philosopher Hegel. In 1990, he returned to Ireland to continue his priestly duties and began his postdoctoral work on the 13th century mystic Meister Eckhart. This man is my hero. He retired from active priesthood in the year 2000. O'Donohue had a knack for writing about spirituality in a way that is accessible and appealing to people of all faith traditions and no faith tradition, in my opinion. Nature was central to O'Donohue's understanding of the sacred. And like John Muir, that love spurred him into environmental activism. There is so much for Unitarian Universalists to love about John O'Donohue's writing, but today I will focus on his theology around the act of offering a blessing. So what is a blessing? To me, it's any affirming, caring, comforting wish that I offer to another person. We can offer a blessing to someone such as one that's popular with one of my family members, be well. He ends every conversation with, be well. And it can be offered right back if the person being blessed feels so moved. So for me, a blessing is something that happens between us, drawing our attention to the relationship we have with one another. It can sound casual, take care, or have a good day. But I see even those brief words of blessing as an act of respect and caring. And if that sounds strange to you, just think about how it feels to be hung up on by someone you care about with absolutely no words of goodbye. O'Donohue writes that blessings remind us that each life is clothed in a raiment of spirit that secretly links it to everything else. A raiment of spirit that secretly links it to everything else. That sounds like the interconnected web of being of which we are a part. Blessings are words that affirm our connections. Anytime we express the hope for a well-being or hope for the well-being of another person, we are offering a blessing. In that moment, we acknowledge the sacredness of another person's life and their light in the world. We may or may not believe that our blessing can actually affect what unfolds, but if someone says to me, I hope it all goes well for you, or I hope that you will feel better soon, and if they really mean it, it does make a difference to me. Phrases like, I'm here for you, you're not alone, I'm so happy for you. If offered in the spirit of caring, those are all blessings. O'Donohue writes that even the word blessing invokes the sense of warmth and protection. It suggests that no life is alone or unreachable. It would be infinitely lonely to live in a world without blessings. Here's a blessing written by John O'Donohue that's called For the Traveler. And this one means a lot to me today because I'm about to have a grandchild who has a name which means traveler, so it feels very emotional. For the Traveler. Every time you leave home, another road takes you into a world you were never in. New strangers on other paths await. New places that have never seen you will startle a little at your entry. Old places that know you well will pretend nothing changed since your last visit. When you travel, a new silence goes with you. And if you listen, you will hear what your heart would love to say. A journey can become a sacred thing. Make sure before you go to take the time to bless your going forth, to free your heart of ballast, so that the compass of your soul might direct you toward the territories of spirit, where you will discover more of your hidden life and the urgencies that deserve to claim you. May you travel in an awakened way, gathered wisely into your inner ground, that you may not waste the invitation which waits along the way to transform you. May you travel safely, arise refreshed, and live your time away to the fullest. Return home more enriched and free to balance the gift of days which calls you. Who has the power to bless? John O'Donohue tells a story about visiting a contemplative community of nuns as a new young priest. He remembered how a much older nun opened the door to him, and knowing he was a priest, she got on her knees and asked him to bless her. He wrote, I stood over this contemplative and drew on every resource I knew to invoke the most intimate blessing. It struck me how ironical this situation was. Here was a contemplative who had spent over 60 years of her life navigating the searing silence, the darkness of God. Yet she was asking a 25-year-old for his blessing. He recalls when he finished, he decided to kneel down and ask her for a blessing. He writes, she seemed utterly taken aback. She mumbled something and practically ran out of the room. The system made her feel that she could not bless. And conversely, it made me think that I could. Later, he thought more about that question of authority and blessings. He asked, who has the power to bless? And the deeper question, what do you bless with? Or where do you bless from? His conclusion, when you bless one another, you first gather yourself. You reach below your surface mind and personality. Draw down to the deeper source within you, namely the soul. Blessing is from soul to soul. Whenever one person takes another person into the care of their heart, he writes, they have the power to bless. This strikingly un-Catholic notion comes from O'Donohue's personal theology. He believed that the soul is at the core of who we are. He imagined it like having two faces, one directed toward our own life, the other directed toward the divine. In that latter face, there is, quote, a wholeness in us that no one has ever been able to damage. The home of what he calls the creative imagination. It is from this place, he believes, that we offer blessings to one another. We may all not be priests and poets like John O'Donohue, but we all have the power and authority to bless. It does not require any special training. It just requires that we care for one another and bring forth from our divine imaginations our hope for health, for healing, for wholeness. Are blessings important? O'Donohue writes, while our culture is all gloss and pace on the outside, within it we are too often haunted and lost. The commercial edge of so-called progress has cut away a huge region of human tissue and webbing that held us in communion. We have fallen out of belonging. Consequently, when we stand before crucial thresholds in our lives, rituals to protect, encourage, and guide us as we cross over into the unknown, we don't have those rituals. For those crossings, we need to find new words. Our times are desperate for meaning and for belonging. In the parched desert of postmodernity, a blessing can be a discovery of a fresh well. I found myself wanting to read a blessing for my son at his graduation. And so and actually this is how I found John O'Donohue. I heard this poem and I thought, oh, this is perfect for him. And so I read it on the occasion of him moving out of our home for the last time. It's called Dlott. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets to you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the currach of thought and stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours, and the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. O'Donohue writes that we are especially in need of blessings when we stand at those thresholds of our lives. When we commit to a relationship, when we start a job, when we receive a scary diagnosis, when we lay to rest a loved one. For such times, we need words that say, I know you are nervous, scared, but you are not alone. We are in this together. I love this blessing from O'Donohue, which is titled, For Old Age. May the light of your soul mind you. May all your worry and anxiousness about your age be transfigured. May you be given wisdom for the eyes of your soul to see this as a time of gracious harvesting. May you have the passion to heal what has hurt you and allow it to come closer and become one with you. May you have great dignity. Sense how free you are. Above all, may you be given the wonderful gift of meeting the eternal light that is within you. May you be blessed, and may you find a wonderful love in yourself, for yourself. Although O'Donohue himself blessed in the name and the spirit of Jesus, he does not attach the name of Jesus or even God to his blessings. He respects what people call, what he calls each person's intimacy with God. Even so, I wonder if some Unitarian Universalists still might feel a little uncomfortable with the notion of offering each other blessings for any number of personal reasons. But my sense is that we should do it anyway. Whether or how our blessings actually change the course of another person's life is a mystery. But I know from my own experience that it can be very impactful to the one being blessed. O'Donohue puts it this way: when a blessing is invoked, it changes the atmosphere. Some of the plenitude flows into our hearts from the invisible neighborhood of loving kindness. The invisible neighborhood of loving kindness. In the light and reverence of blessing, a person or situation becomes illuminated in a completely new way. Whenever you give a blessing, that blessing returns to enfold you. I want to finish by speaking of another important way we offer blessings, an embodied way, which was lifted up by Reverend Wacko in the reading by Rebecca Parker. Blessings can also be offered by the way we live our lives. She wrote that offering a blessing to the world draws you into community, the heritage shared, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith. We bless one another here, not only with our words, but with our hands and with our deeds. We teach children, we support one another, we offer food and comfort. We think about the ways to make this community in our world more fair, just, and loving. However you act to bless the world, may it be always on your mind as you seek to deepen the practice of your faith. I'm going to end with just one more quick blessing. And may it remind you, may it remind all of us that no life is alone or unreachable. This is called blessings. Blessed be the longing that brought you here and quickens your soul with wonder. May you have the courage to listen to the voice of desire that disturbs you when you have settled for something safe. May you have the wisdom to enter generously into your own unease, to discover the new direction your longing wants you to take. May the forms of your belonging in love, creativity, and friendship be equal to the grandeur and the call of your soul. May the one you long for you. May your dreams gradually reveal the destination of your desire. May a secret providence guide your thought and nurture your feeling. May your mind inhabit your life with the sureness with which your body inhabits the world. May your heart never be haunted by ghost structures of old damage. May you come to accept your longing as divine urgency, and may you know the urgency which life longs for you. And I will just add, be well, take care, have a good day, safe travels. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so.